Can you describe how the spiritual accompaniment element of the training is relevant to social workers, therapists, and person-centered professionals specifically?
Yeah, so I trained in person-centered counselling, and I do one-to-one sound healing with the voice. And I found I didn't love counselling in the end, but spiritual accompaniment opened me up to a whole new way of being. It's For me, it feels so much more powerful and beautiful than counselling. It doesn't have the same purpose as counselling, but the qualities of spiritual accompaniment could be used in a counselling context. Especially transpersonal counselling. So I did a master's degree in transpersonal psychology, and that is the psychology of spiritual and religious experiences. And as a transpersonal therapist, I could bring spirituality into a healing or counseling session. The spiritual accompaniment is actually about supporting someone in their spiritual journey, holding a sacred space for them to explore their own spiritual development. So it's not a place to bring emotional trauma or pain like it might be in counseling or therapy. It's purely about your relationship with the divine and your concept of what that is. And I think being able to sit in a sacred space in the presence of the divine, which is what we do in spiritual accompaniment, and trusting the process and handing the process over, and being really focused on the client who's come for spiritual accompaniment, letting them and their relationship with the divine lead the process. Again, it's you're out of the way, you're allowing spirit to do the work along with the needs of the person who's in the space with you. And it's the most beautiful, soulful, heart-centered experience. I'd never come across spiritual accompaniment or even heard of it before doing this course, and I knew straight away, as soon as I encountered the experience, that this is something I want to make a major part of my ministry. And I think having that experience will bring a certain quality of soulfulness and presence to all the work that you do with clients in other settings as well. I think it's really transformative. I think it's like I said, very beautiful. I think it's relevant to anybody that supports others. And it is people-centered. So we can't always speak about people's spiritual life in every context. As a social worker or other kinds of therapist, you might not be able to, but the fact that you are in that space yourself, holding a sacred space and being present with your own connection to the divine in that context, will bring so much more into the relationship and into the exchange and the therapeutic relationship, without ever having to mention anything about it. Just your presence is different in that space. And I think in that way it makes a huge difference. And I don't know if any of you others wanted to come in on that as well, but that's what it feels like to me.